A shocking report has just come out directly from the Panthers forward and two-time All-Star on whether or not he will be ready for Game 1 of their first-round series against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'll tell you what he said and when he thinks he will be ready to go in that Round 1 series. And we're going to have a little fun on this episode, guys. At the very end, I'm going to share with you an article that was written by two NHL.com writers where they go back and forth about who they think they will have in this first round matchup between the Panthers and Lightning and why. And I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor because I want you guys to get involved with these episodes a little bit more. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest. I am your host, Greg Andrews. Man, we're going to have fun with this, but we're going to pretty much be focusing on Matthew Tkachuk and what he has said in an interview yesterday and where he thinks he will be in Game 1 of this first round series. He sat down with Kay Adams on the Up and Adams show, and he had some comments to make. And again, we are left with cloud coverage. There's not a lot of answers, but a lot more questions about will he be healthy enough to return. So as we're looking at this now, this is where we're sitting. Matthew Tkachuk has pretty much stated that, you know what, when I'll be back. He doesn't think there's going to be trouble for him to get there, no. But he doesn't know exactly when he's going to return. He's been skating for the last couple of days, and he's been feeling pretty good, and he's trying to peak at Game 1, as he says there. You can just read this for yourself. And he's very excited to get back on the ice. That's some tremendous news for the Panthers and Panthers fans because they really need his production offensively out there. They need his grittiness, his moxie, his leadership out there, especially in a round 1 matchup against a very tough Lightning team who has been playing great hockey in these last few games, especially since the end of January. Because since the end of January, guys, this team has been hot. They've been really hot. Excuse me while I look over my notes. They have been nothing short of hard to beat. And we'll go over those numbers in just a little bit, guys. But yeah, so this is what Matthew Tkachuk is stating. And he also said this. He feels like he's been left out. And of course he has because he's on long-term injury reserve. He really wants to be on the ice with his teammates, especially those first few games that he was put on long-term injury reserve. He's itching to get out there. What I love about this is his passion, his excitement, the anxiety that is building in him to want to be on the ice and that he can't do anything to help his team because he is sidelined and watching. Now, I know he still has leadership there. I know he's still telling his guys what they need to do. And, he might not be Aleksander Barkov and have that letter on his shirt, but man, he is a leader in that locker room. And I know he's still pushing these guys to put up their best. Mind you, something else. Remember, a lot of guys have been injured in these last few weeks of the season. So the last 10 games where the Panthers have gone 3-6-1, we need to understand something about these last 10 games. Lots of injuries. They have not been playing great hockey. Again, Paul Maurice has come out and said, listen, we've been experimenting with lines. This has given us a great chance to see where could there be additional chemistry and we could build on our depth by bringing up these younger guys, putting them on specific lines, seeing where we can get this chemistry built. So if we do face any sort of adversity in the playoffs, we'll have guys that will be able to step up because we know that they click on these specific lines. And one of the things I will say, again, about Tkachuk's return, if he does return, I'm going to be curious to see where Paul Maurice ends up putting him on the line. Is it going to be with Bennett and Marchand? And that's where a lot of the things are being talked about on different networks. A lot of rumors are being thrown around, and I'm not really going to get into that all that much, but I think that's going to be something to really look out for. But we're going to see how is he going to respond when it's go time and your adrenaline is rushing when you hit the ice. Is he going to be able to move like he moved? I know the psychology that he likes to play with will be on the ice and in full display, but physically, I've said it in previous episodes, that groin injury is not an easy one to play through. Even with 45 days of rest, technically 46 today. That's still not a lot of rest for a groin injury, especially when you're playing in a sport where your lower body, man, you've got to do some moves and pirouettes and you've got to, toe drags, things like that, where you have to use those interior muscles of the groin. I said it. There's an adductor muscle, which is on the inside, and an abductor, which is on the outside of the leg. Those are two big major muscle movers that really help you move on the ice. And if he's still feeling that thing is a little bit agitated, when he gets into the heat of the moment and the heat of battle against a team that is trying to get revenge, it's going to be tough. I really hope he hits the ice and he's like, hey, man, I'm at 100%. I feel great. There's no issues. There's no nothing. A little bit of soreness after the game, but I'm ready to rock and roll for game 2. I really hope that is what we hear. But from what I'm reading in this, it's a little scary because he's only been on the ice for, two skate around, something like that. Nothing that's been like big time skates, going up and doing some 5-on-5 work, things like that. So that's a little bit worrisome for me when I'm looking at Matthew Tkachuk and his ability to get ready right now. Can he put himself into that full motion of skating back with the team and be 100% contact, movement, all of that? But that will, that remains to be seen as we move forward. So this is going to be tough. And I'm going to say the good thing with Tkachuk on the ice, even if he's not really at 100%, he will still be able to make a difference, I believe, as long as he's not feeling the way he did at the Four Nations Cup when he faced this groin injury. Because with him, they are great. They're 31-19-2. Without him, they fall 13-9-1. And that's according to TSN. So the numbers are not great without him. He is a difference maker on the ice, 22 goals and 35 assists. He has 57 points. If you want to add that up, it's pretty easy to do. But he's a difference maker on the ice. He makes his teammates better around him, clearly. And like I said, he's a leader. He will face wash. He really gets on the head of his opponents. And that's why I said about that Bennett Marchand line, that's a dangerous line psychologically for every team that they face. No matter who your opponent is, they should be scared of that line. And they should be scared of this team. Because as I will get into when I said the NHL.com writers, as they battle back and forth about who they've got in this series and why, I'm going to share several points that they make as well as what I am going to make to support my decision. So as we move forward in terms of injuries right now, again, if we looked at this today, I'm not too worried. These guys are all day to day because they're just being rested. This is more about precautionary. Let them, deal with those bruises and bumps and things like that. So in game 1 of the series, they are ready to rock and roll. Matthew Tkachuk, we already know that's what we're really discussing about here and now. So again, a lot more cloud cover still regarding his status for game 1. I'm sure we will have a better report in the coming days as we gear up for game 1, which still remains to be seen when that will be. That is still TBD on all the websites that are talking about when this series will potentially start. We do not know yet. But this is going to be an exciting series, guys. In-state battle, 2 teams. The Atlantic Division is probably one of the hardest divisions in terms of battling to get out of it right now. Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Florida, man, it's going to be a battle to get out of there, and it's going to be an exciting one to watch. Really exciting, man. This is going to be, I can't wait. I'm really excited. So as soon as I know when game 1 will start, guys, I'm going to put that out for you in a very quick video, and I'll probably put it on my social media. But guys, again, I want you to make sure that we pay attention, that we don't know when he will be back. It has not been clearly stated, but I'm sure we'll find out in the coming days. And as we move forward here, this is the betting as of right now. Florida Panthers second, they're at plus 700. Avalanche are at plus 650 for the front runners to win the Stanley Cup, and the Panthers are followed by the Carolina Hurricanes at plus 800. I just wanted to throw that out there for all the people who like to bet on sports, especially the Stanley Cup. And so yeah, I think with Tkachuk coming back, depending on how he looks and if he remains healthy, I think they might move up there and be the front runners, because again, that roster, there are no holes in it when they're healthy. There are no holes in this roster. That's what makes me excited about seeing what's going to happen in the playoffs. I think they're going to turn up to a different notch as soon as game 1 starts, because I think the last game of the season against the Lightning was a total fluke. Brad Marchand had a goal, which was fantastic. I think he's starting to hit his stride and getting comfortable with the system of what Paul Maurice has and on the lines that he has been on. The chemistry is building for him with this team. That's good news for Panthers fans and this team moving forward. But as we look back at that game, again, I didn't put up the stats for that because it was just a lackadaisical effort. It didn't seem like they really cared about the game. 5-1 loss. It wasn't really about making a statement. I don't think it was about that at all. Because this team, I think they know they're ready for the playoffs, and it doesn't matter, again, where they're seated. It does not matter. They know who they're playing, they know who they're going to go up against, and they know what they need to do to beat this team. They have a tough-as-nails goaltender who is big at 6'4", 226. They have the Hart Trophy winner, and again, we'll get into that, Nikita Kucherov, and they just have some fantastic guys on their squad, and Victor Hedman and Braden Point. So we'll get into that more in a little bit, but I am not too afraid of what will happen with the Panthers heading into the playoffs, especially with Matthew Tkachuk's injury status, which remains to be seen. If he misses a game, so be it. Again, he will be back. I think he's going to be back. He's going to be playoff Tkachuk. He's going to be ready to go because he lives for the playoffs, guys. So this is what I was going to say. We're going to have a little fun right now. State your case. I'm not going to call it that because that's what they're doing. I'm going to say, who you got? Who you got? Do you have the Florida Panthers or do you have the Tampa Bay Lightning in this series? And why? And I want you to put it in the comments below, guys. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be doing a lot of these things coming up, and I want to hear from you guys. Who do you have and why? Support it with some facts. Give me reasons why you have whoever you got. Obviously, I'm going to take the Panthers in this one, and I'll give my reasons for it. So this is a bit of a back and forth between two writers for NHL.com, Tracy Myers and Dan Rosen. And they go back and forth. Dan Rosen, obviously, this is more written for the Lightning perspective because Myers gave some good points, but not as heavily as Dan Rosen did. If you look up this specific article, you could see a lot more writing is in there and supporting data and stats and for the Lightning fans, and then a lot less for the Panthers fans. So I think it was a little biased, and I'm going to try not to be as overly biased here because I could see both sides. I'm not going to go through every single point that was made, but I'm going to go through some major ones there. So who you got, guys? Pick your team. I'm going to say the Florida Panthers. And I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why. I'm not going to give you a lot just because I'm going to go on what Tracy Myers is saying. 2 consecutive trips to the NHL Finals. I know they've played a lot of games, and that's what Dan Rosen has said. Hey, they've played 290 games in 916 days. That's a lot of hockey. That's a lot of adversity that you're facing. That's a lot of tired faces and tired bodies and just beaten and banged up dudes. So I get it. But I'm going to say when Tkachuk returns and this team is healthy now, there are going to be some chemistry issues possibly, but these guys have all returned. Yes, I know they haven't had Bennett. They didn't play with Kulikov for a bit. Yes, Aaron Ekblad was facing a suspension. Yes, adversity. I understand. Every single team faces that at the end of the regular season heading into the playoffs. And Dan Rosen said, well, the Tampa Bay Lightning are healthy. They're healthy. That's great. I'm glad they're healthy. The Panthers have beaten them. Even with Vasilevsky being a wall that he is, playoff hockey is different than regular season hockey. And the Panthers have seemed to have been able to step it up in the recent years. That's why this could potentially be their third year heading to the Stanley Cup Finals and being one of potentially 3 teams to win back-to-back Stanley Cup championships in a long time. Long time, guys. I like my chances with the Panthers going into this because they have better depth. Like I said, there's not a lot of holes in their roster. There aren't. If one man goes down, another one will step up. They have a very, very deep roster. So playoff Tkachuk, again, when he shows up, man, I think it's going to be lights out. He's going to go out there and have something to prove because he missed so many games. I think he's going to try to say, I'm not hurt. I'm good. Let's go. I'm going to start making a difference with my 57 points. I'm going to throw out some assists. I'm going to throw the body. I'm going to use my psychology and get in the heads of the other players that are on the other team. That's what he does best, and that's what he's going to do when he's out there, so that way he can make a difference, and he's going to support his teammates, and he's going to make them better. That is what he does. He is a leader, guys. He is a leader. So, yeah, Marchand is getting back in the thick of it again, man. He's got a couple of goals in 3 games, and hopefully he's starting to feel things out a little bit better and hit his stride at the right time. And Seth Jones, he hasn't been to the playoffs in a long time, and I know he's itching to get in that first playoff game, and you know he's going to step it up. He's going to be throwing that body around, that big 6'4" body. Whoo! And there are 5 players on our team that have 20-plus goals and 5 that have 30-plus assists. So there is plenty of offensive production on this team that needs to be noted, and they are healthy. Again, Tkachuk is still up in the air, but we already know where we sit, and we'll find out more in the coming days, as I've said repeatedly in this episode. So the Tampa Bay Lightning, man, they 26-5 since January 30th. 26-5. That's the number 20, then -6, then -5. They have been playing lights out hockey. That's great. Regular season, that's why they've climbed up in the standings. That's why they are second. They've been playing great, and they haven't dealt with tremendous amounts of injuries as the Panthers have. That's great. I'm so happy for them. But this is playoff hockey again. Rosen said, oh, well, they're healthy. Okay, well, how healthy are you really? To me, I looked at their injury report. There's not much on there. I'm not too worried about what I see from that perspective of looking as a Lightnings fan and saying, hey, man, they're healthy. They're going to come in there and they're going to push the Panthers around. Maybe, maybe not. Again, this is 2 very different rosters that, their top lines have some similarities to it, but as you look into the depth of the rosters, I think there are some big-time differentiations that make the Panthers a better overall team than the Tampa Bay Lightning. And how much abuse can Vasilevsky take? Bobrovsky has great numbers heading into this matchup. And I want to bring this up to everybody's attention. I've already said it in the last episode. Bobrovsky has decent numbers against the Lightning. They have kind of skewed a little bit because of that last game. But Vasilevsky has good numbers against the Panthers as well. They both are phenomenal goaltenders, both Vezina Trophy winners. And they're both up for it again. Technically, Vasilevsky is a little bit higher up on that because his numbers are better. But I want to tell you this, guys. On the season, Bobrovsky's got a 2.44 goals against average, a 906 save percentage. Vasilevsky's numbers are better at 218 goals against and a 92% save percentage. But listen to this. Bobrovsky has faced 1,377 shots on the season. Vasilevsky, 1,716. That's a lot of shots for a goaltender to face. And I don't care if you're 6'8" and facing that. You're taking a puck to the chest, to the arm, to the leg, whatever it might hit you in that upper body. 1,700 shots is a lot of shots and a lot of abuse, even if you're taking it into pads. You're still going to feel it, and it beats you up a bit. And I know he's a big, strong dude, but can he take the abuse? Can he take, 30-plus shots a game from the Florida Panthers? We'll find out. We will find out, guys. So, yeah, so they got Vasilevsky, who's just a beast in net. He's been nothing short of spectacular again, as he usually is. But they also have Nikita Kucherov, who's going to be the Hart Trophy winner. He has the most points in the regular season. And they also have Victor Hedman, who's going to get some Norris Trophy votes for best defenseman. But I want to say this, we have Aleksander Barkov, and he's got the Selke Trophy twice, and he's probably going to win it for a 3rd time this year. So we've got our fair share of fantastic defensemen on this team. We're going to get Ekblad back. You got Kulikov back, Seth Jones. There's 3 guys right there. I mean, look, you can make arguments for both sides, but I just want to point out to you guys, this, to me, I want to see a very exciting series. I don't want to see it 1-5 games, 1-4. I want entertaining hockey, and boy, I think we're going to get it. Even if it does only go 4 games or whatever it is, I think every game is going to come down to these guys beating the hell out of each other. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be runaway games. I think the goalies are going to be standing on their heads and stopping some big-time shots. Again, both these goalies, when the playoff starts, it's a different form of hockey for them. And we're going to see some big-time saves. We're also going to see some big-time hits and some big-time scrums. This is going to be fun, you guys. I can't wait. So as we move forward, I just want to let you know that I will be putting up more episodes in the coming days. As soon as something breaks about Matthew Tkachuk or anything else regarding the Florida Panthers, I will put up an episode immediately. So guys, again, if you want to stay in the know when that happens, please hit that subscribe button down below so that you are up to date with everything and anything that's happening with your Stanley Cup defending Florida Panthers. So hit that button down below. Follow me again. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm your host, Greg Andrews. I will talk to you guys next time, and go Panthers.